Oh, hello. I saw the Christopher Reeve documentary Superman, and it was great. It was a really touching documentary. They had family members, all three kids of his and Dana Reeve. They were a big part of this documentary, and it took a look at obviously the tragic equestrian tournament that he was in. That's where in 1995 he fell off his horse and broke his neck. I wasn't aware of how bad the neck break was. Apparently, they had to reattach his spine to his head. It was intense to see this young guy, relatively young at the time. He lost everything that made him at the time. His physical prowess, his ability to move. He was a really active guy. He liked to skate on ice. He liked to sail boats. He liked to ski. He was a really, really active guy. We learn about when he first got the audition for Superman. He was on an off-Broadway show, and another fellow actor in that play, William Hurt, he was like, dude, you can't take this role. You cannot take Superman. You're going to be selling out. No one's going to respect you. You cannot take this role. And Christopher Reeve obviously took the role, and the rest is history. He became Superman. And it's funny when I hear about that other actor saying, you don't do it. You're going to, it's like selling out. It just sounded like a guy who was kind of jealous that he wasn't auditioning for that role, but whatever. I learned a lot about Christopher Reeve as an actor. I learned that he went to Juilliard. I had heard that before, but he's, classically trained, this guy. And being Superman was a double-edged sword for him. He was one of the biggest, most recognizable stars in the world at the time. It was the late 70s when the first Superman came out, and he had to grapple with that huge amount of fame. I mean, people thought he was Superman. He might as well have just called him Superman at the time, but he got typecasted a lot. He was a consummate actor. He was taking all sorts of different roles and trying to stretch himself as an actor, but the audiences at the time they had a hard time seeing him as anything but Superman, and he struggled with that. He was married twice. Actually, he was married once, but he was with one partner. Gay Exton is her name, I believe. And they were together for a long time. They had two kids together, but they never married, which I thought was surprising. He went on to marry Dana Reeve and had one child with her. And the three children of Reeve, they've been through so much. Christopher Reeve died in 2004, and 2 years later, 2006, Dana Reeve died of lung cancer. And that's just so hard for the kids. They had to go through so much, And with Christopher Reeve getting into that accident in 1995, it was like nonstop. I guess you could say tragedy, but what I really liked about this documentary is it showed how much resilience and hope that the family had through such hard times. And one touching part was where not too long after the accident, Christopher Reeve said to his wife Dana that like maybe we should let me go. Maybe we should just unplug him and let him die, basically. And she's very emotional about this, obviously. And she said, I'll do whatever you want. I'll honor your wishes because it's your body, it's your life, and you have to live through this, and I want to honor that. But she said, you're still you, and I love you, and I'm going to be with you at your side through whatever you do. And I thought that was really touching. I mean, this movie's going to make you cry, okay? It's really well done, but very sad, And it showed a side of the story that I have never seen before. It was a more intimate look. The documentary makers did a really great job at diving into archival footage and home videos from his life. And just to really see what he was going through, he went through a lot. But, I was also... He really believed he would walk again one day, and this also covered how he eventually was able to wiggle his fingers and move his feet a little bit. He never got back to full mobility, obviously, but it shows. I just was shocked by that, how the nerves can be activated again with time and with your thoughts and your determination. And Christopher Reeve and Dana Reeve did a lot to further the research of ways of helping people with disabilities, treatments and experimental ways of helping people with disabilities hopefully be able to walk again. In fact, later on in life, way after Christopher Reeve had died, there was a guy who was paralyzed, couldn't walk, and eventually through some therapies, I don't know if it was a stem cell or not, but he was able to walk again, and they showed that in the documentary. And it just shows how much Christopher and his wife, and now his kids who run the Dana and Christopher Reeve Foundation, it's amazing how much they did to help others through this tragedy. It showed how much he grew after his accident. He even said something in the movie about how he had to break his neck to learn how to be a better family man, to be more present with his family. That was a hard line to hear, but beautiful, really. You know, you're not going to be able to watch this movie without crying. I cried a few times. It's a very emotional movie, full of hope, full of sadness, full of triumph. I totally recommend this to you if you, at all of the Superman movies that Christopher Reeve was in. Very well done, very touching, and a story that makes you want to do the best you can with the life you have. The movie is available to buy on Amazon right now. I'm sure you can buy it other places too. It'll be available to rent sometime down the line. I totally recommend it. And, you know, let me know which person is your favorite Superman so far. There's been some TV and movie ones. I think Christopher Reeve is my favorite, but I'd like to know which one is your favorite Superman.